I couldn't believe people were that out of shape. What's up, YouTube? Will Personal Training here, also known as Personal Training Jesus. Here to talk about the major things I've learned as a personal trainer 8 months in a public gym. Right there, got your reminder to overload. If you're not overloading, what are you doing? Let's get to it. One of the first major things I learned is that some clients will not listen to instruction you give them no matter what you say. One of my clients I had, we had been squatting for a long time together, and from the very get-go, I tried to teach her to do a low bar squat. No matter what would happen, the bar would always creep up on her back against my instruction, and she would just do a high bar squat. Over and over, she would do it on her own. That's what she felt most comfortable with, despite my instruction, despite me trying to convince her to move to a low bar. She was going high bar, and eventually I just had to let it slide, and she had to go with the high bar squat. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it was something that I noticed, and it's something that happened. A lot of the times I will instruct people to do certain form and certain speed when they do movements. You know, maybe slow on the eccentric and fast on the concentric, and no matter what I do, they will go slow on everything. That's what a lot of clients do. I'm like, okay, let's go faster in the concentric. Doesn't matter, they will go slow on everything because that's what they feel comfortable with. Another thing is I had a client where he goes very, very fast. I would tell him to slow it down, like, hey, let's slow it down. Might get your form a little better, you might feel a little more. He wouldn't do what I was saying, wouldn't do the instruction. He was going very fast, all his reps, no matter what I said. Some clients will just not listen to your instruction, no matter what you say, and there's nothing you can get around it with some people. Some people are very stubborn, but you just gotta let it go. Okay, the second thing is some people would come to me and I'd do their free session, or maybe I'd sign them up, and they're so out of shape. Very surprisingly, I was like, first thing I noticed is I taught someone to do a Romanian deadlift, and they were too weak to do it with the barbell. That's the first thing. It was one of the first experiences I had when I first started this gym. A lot of my clients, I don't even start them out with a Romanian deadlift with the bar. Most of them, and when I say most clients, I'm talking about normal people, not young male athletes or young female athletic type people. I'm talking about middle-aged, sedentary lifestyle, don't ever pick up a bar or pick up weights ever in their life. We have to start up with dumbbells, few days to teach them to actually do the movement. People have a very bad sense of their body and sense of movements with their body. They cannot even do a hip hinge, just a hip hinge with no weight, with nothing properly. It would take a lot of weeks for someone to even move on from dumbbell Romanian deadlift to a barbell Romanian deadlift. And I'm talking we will go from 5 pounds to 20 pounds. And then after that, I'll move into the bar over a very long period of time. Another thing I noticed too is that some people could not even perform a free squat. They were physically too weak to perform a body weight squat with nothing in their hands, unless it was a major quarter or half squat. I had a client that had very unusually weak legs, and we did a high box squat, as in a box squat a little bit above parallel, and her 5 rep max was just no body weight. For her to do 5 box squats a little bit above parallel with no weight was her 5 repetition maximum. She obviously progressed through that really quick, but that was very surprising to me to see someone that had that level of weakness in their body. I was definitely not expecting for people to come in and not be able to perform basic exercises and not even able to do a normal free squat. You have to start people off with very, very easy low weight exercises. Some people come at me and we do 3-pound dumbbell overhead presses, and that is hard for them for maybe a set of 8 or a set of 10. So a lot of people come in very, very out of shape and very, very out of tune with their body. Another thing I noticed too is, with me as a trainer, I'm always trying to get my clients to progressive overload. We're always trying to get stronger. We're always trying to add repetitions. We're always trying to add weight to our exercises and our sets and all that stuff. I noticed that women in general are more afraid to push their limits and progressively overload and get stronger than men are. I don't know what it is, but a lot of the times women, I will be like, hey, let's go up another weight, and they're just like, no, let's stop here. There's really no clear reason as to why we would stop or we would not add weight or add repetitions. They are just simply too afraid and too uncomfortable with it, despite even working with a personal trainer. I can't say why that is. Maybe women are more reluctant to do things on average. I don't know. I've had to push them a little harder or work with their progressive overload very, very slowly, and their progress is very slow despite me trying to push it because they are not comfortable with moving at a fast speed, despite it not being a fast speed. It's just an average speed. Obviously, they're the trainee and they don't know what I know. So you have to take it very slower with them. You have to make your client comfortable. You can't just do things your client doesn't want to do, especially if they're very uncomfortable. They have to be comfortable. But especially with me as a trainer, I don't care if they're gonna be uncomfortable a little bit, we're gonna push their weight in the reps because we're gonna get them some muscle and we're gonna get them stronger. Now this right here was the biggest surprise for me. I learned as working as a trainer is I have a lot of clients that come to me, we do fat loss. I'm somewhat of a fat loss expert. I've had multiple clients lose 30 plus pounds with me. And what I do is I monitor their diets, I figure out their caloric maintenance, and I get them in a caloric deficit. Obviously every single diet's goal, no matter what the science or the logic or the explanation behind it, that's what they're going for. They're trying to get you in a caloric deficit. Now I have my clients track their calories and I have them report to me. And what I noticed is that a lot of people have extremely slow metabolisms. So me, my entire life, my caloric maintenance has been between 3,000 and 4,000. And if I want to gain weight very slowly on like a lean bulk or a slight caloric surplus, so to speak, I'm eating upwards to 4,000 to 4,200 calories a day. Now, people doing a maybe 300 or 250 deficit from their maintenance, a lot of times they end up at 1,000, 1,100, 12, 13, 1,400 calories, and that puts them in a slight deficit. And I usually make it up with cardio because I want them to get into it at least a pound a week, minimum. I was extremely surprised when people were coming back to me after their maintenance weeks and seeing a caloric maintenance of 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. That is so slow compared to the impression I was under that people were gonna have a large energy turnovers, and I was very wrong. I could definitely see why the average person is overweight and why we have a very high obesity. People with no muscle and generally no activity in their day have extremely low energy turnovers. Luckily with women, they tend to have less appetites, so it's not too hard for them to eat even less than that when they go in a caloric deficit. Basically, to see people's maintenance calories be under 1,500 was an extreme surprise to me. The last thing I figured out here as a trainer, one of the biggest last things, is that people do not care if you're nice as a trainer in order to sign up with you. They do not care. I have had so many people where they could have been potential signups, and I'm just a really nice guy, obviously. You have to be nice if you want to get any signups, but if you're a nice guy and you don't know how to sell or you don't present a good product for the trainee, they are not gonna sign up with you just because you are a nice person. I had a person talk to me who was going through their personal training certification and wondering about working as a personal trainer. I had told them they have to, have a lot of sales knowledge, they have to get good at sales, and they have to focus on sales a lot until you build out that big base of clientele. They had told me although they were inexperienced in the sales department, people would come aboard with them just because she was a very nice person, which she is definitely a nice person. But that is not going to help you because I've been a nice person to a lot of people that have passed me up, which obviously was the wrong decision because I changed people's lives and I can change people's lives. Anyway, you have to have this sales knowledge. Sales is huge. I had no idea. Sales is so big, and you have to have a great product. I love having people come to me and they have a fat loss goal, and I'm like, yes, I have gotten, here are my results. I have all these people losing 30 pounds. This person lost 20, this person lost 10, 15, everything along those lines. They're like, okay, that's a great product. And then you have to explain the product to them while you're doing the free session with them. That's how you're gonna make them feel comfortable with going with you. That's how you're gonna make them be like, okay, this is great. If you're sitting down with someone and they're like, hey, this is training, okay, here's how you do a squat. Hey, do you want to sign up with me? Not gonna work. They don't really know the product they're getting, and how are they gonna know you're a good trainer if you're not presenting a good product to them, which obviously you have to do as part of this sale. If you're a nice person, you teach someone how to squat, and that's all you do as a nice person, say goodbye to the sale, unless they, of course, already know about you and want to go with the trainer no matter what. All right, y'all, let's do a recap real quick. Top things I've learned working at a public gym for the 8 months as a personal trainer. People are not always going to listen to the instruction you give them. People have very slow metabolisms. Women are generally more afraid to push themselves working out than men are. And lastly, the average person is very out of shape compared to what you think the average person would be like. All right, guys, Build Personal Training. See y'all later.